February 27th, Committee of the Whole meeting. Tonight, we have a neighborhood program update coming out of our Equity Housing and Human Services Division, whose administrator is Mary Jane Van Cleef, and she will be introducing us to Remy King.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President and Council members. It's great to be here tonight. We're glad to come back and give you an update on the neighborhood program. Again, Mary Jane Van Cleef, also known as MJ. And I'm excited to introduce Remy King. She's been a phenomenal asset and resource. She joined our city agency last week and has a host of wonderful last week.
Year.
I'm sorry.
Not so much in a week.
The mom brain going on. It's okay.
A lot done so
It's
far.
all
It's
right.
impressive in a week. It's true.
Time is an issue right now. We apologize. With that, Miss Remy King.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm also really excited to be here. I just learned that it's the first cow of the year, so you're welcome. We did try to make sure to put a lot of really fun pictures in here from last year's event. So this is from the first neighborhood picnic that I ever attended, and it was at Burnett Linear Park for South Renton. And they are so wonderful. They grilled up their own dogs, but they also partnered with a lot of the downtown businesses and got different small amounts of food as part of their little nibble of South Renton. It was adorable. This is a map of kind of the city, and it was from roughly 2017, 2018. And what you're seeing are colors of recognized neighborhoods in the city. There's about 85 plus neighborhoods listed there. It's missing maybe 3 or 4 that are currently active today. But what we're also going to find is inside of those 85 plus neighborhoods are that the ones that have people on them are the ones that I have people I can contact. So what you'll see are lots of really fun colored neighborhoods, but nobody that I can communicate with. So if you guys have anybody in those neighborhoods that you're familiar with that I can reach out to, that would be really handy. Otherwise, all of these people look fun and excited because we did have a fun and exciting last summer. As we go further to the city center and a little bit more towards Cascade, there's a couple more neighborhoods that have leadership in them. However, that doesn't also always say that they're doing any sort of engagement activity. In my recent mass email trying to find out where people are, what they're doing, there's leaders in neighborhoods that are saying things like, oh, we haven't done anything in 3 years, or nobody shows up to stuff, or yeah, I'm the president, but I don't really have time to do things. And so that's what we're running into in a lot of neighborhoods around the city. What you'll also see is one of the larger neighborhoods like Cascade that used to have a pretty large presence. Their, I guess, most recent leader gave me all of their stuff and said, find somebody because I can't do it anymore. And that's pretty average. That's also the same for Talbot Hill. That specific leader moved out of town. Some of them have moved out of state. Some of them have just decided that there's too much time and effort. So a lot of our efforts this year are going to help these neighborhoods find resources.
And the reason for the visualization is they didn't lose designation. They're still recognized neighborhoods. We're just trying to foster a relationship, find where the need is and the assistance in order to get them reconnected to the program. Some of them meet still for their HOAs, just maybe not as frequent, but to be able to plug into the program is an addition. And so we're really trying to figure out what are the needs while actively helping those who are available and interested in support from the city and the program.
Madam President. So it's very funny because at the beginning when I saw the photos in my house, I was reviewing and I say, I don't know this person. This is not the person that I don't think this
They don't live in my
you know?
neighborhood.
Then I realized that there were several that looks exactly the same.
I was
But
gonna
it
ask
took
the
me a
same
minute,
question.
Remy. It took me a minute. But it's very good. Thank you. I have to comment
Absolutely.
about it.
So the things that we're just going to talk about really quickly are going to be the vision and the mission, the matching grant fund, how we plan on supporting neighborhoods, our level of civic engagement, and then the online digital engagement that we're really trying to provide this year. So our vision and mission are really to ensure that Renton has safe neighborhoods that are healthy and informed. And have the support and empower them to create and sustain positive change. And we're going to do that through accessible programming and inclusive engagement. This is a really wonderful kind of mapping of the total population of Renton, which is that large blue space. The purple space is going to be the population of the estimated population of the neighborhoods that participated in the program that year. So if that neighborhood requested grant funding, then I took their population and I guess that that's the amount of people that participated in the program. And so you can see over the last 11 years or so, 10, 11 years, that it's kind of gone up and down. The matching grant funds is that green line, and it does dip occasionally. In 2016, you'll see a pretty large dip, and that's when Norma McQuiller actually retired. And 2017 is about when Dre took over. And apparently we spent a lot of money that year, which is super exciting. It did go into things like playgrounds, outdoor fitnesses, sport court, mailbox refurbishments, things like that. In the years prior to that, it was a lot of signage for the front of neighborhoods that really allowed neighbors to feel like they belong somewhere, that they belong behind a specific name, which was really cool. But what you'll also see is the slow decline in participation. That wasn't necessarily right at 2020. It was starting to go that direction previous. 2020 is really just kind of helped mark those leaders and say, yep, nope, we're stopping here. And that's kind of where we're picking up now, is from that decline and then the pandemic and now trying to re-engage.
And in 2020 is when we shift to, drive-through events, chalk your walk. That's when we did trivia. We tried all sorts of new things. The neighborhoods really just went internal to their individual homes and what they created to be their safe spaces, safe bubbles and networks. And we really just try to respect that. So that's why that funding was a decrease. Some were trying their own little innovative things, but for the most part, it was just kind of a pivot moment for everybody.
So for 2023 and 2024, we're going to continue to support the neighborhood initiated events. And this specific picture is from La Crosse's event last year. And they have their little pocket park. They booked a fun movie night, and it was a really great turnout. There were a lot of people that were enjoying the evening. It was nice and warm. So we're going to continue to support those events. There's already at least 2 or 3 neighborhoods that have reached out for similar things this year. We're going to assist them in recruiting for the active neighborhoods. So the active neighborhoods that do exist, we're going to try to help recruit people to be part of their organizations, because right now 2 or 3 people are planning these things and they're very tired. And then enhance visibility of just the neighborhood program as a whole. There's a lot of neighborhoods that don't actually know what it does, what it can do, what it can provide. So we want to make sure that we provide that education. What you see here are really fun pictures of neighborhood barbecues, including a sack race champion, Councilmember McCurman. But these are neighborhood picnics at, let's see, Tiffany Park, Rolling Hills, Shadow, what is that? Not Shadowhawk, Maplewood Estates.
She's talking about the photos.
Yeah, those are really fun neighborhood events. And so those specific neighborhood block parties, I don't think will not stop. They're pretty excited to continue to host them, especially the ones where their neighbors came out in droves. Now, the ones where they weren't entirely sure if their neighborhoods were going to show up are places like Victoria Park, Talbot Hill, things like that. And so what we've done is committed to 4 specific neighborhood barbecues. And in order to invite neighbors to come and participate, it wasn't just inserting ourselves in their neighborhood. We wanted to respect those bubbles and those spaces again and provide some sort of intentional other theme to it. So for April, you'll see that we're kind of going with a sustainability, environmental friendly theme. In May, we're going to do kind of a grad party, career fair. We'll do some public service recognition in June, and then just celebrate Renton as a whole in July. And these events are near the end of the month. They're on very specific days. For example, the April sustainability is on the day after Earth Day, which is actually National Picnic Day. It's very fun. And that's going to be hosted up at Teasdale Park. And we've partnered with all of those departments listed to provide very intentional parts and pieces to these specific themed events. The June one will be at Cascade. July will be down in front of Renton High School. So we've kind of moved it around different parts of the city to engage all of these different resident areas.
I think the thing to note here is it's thematic. We're trying to help host and facilitate and just demonstrate. So these neighborhoods are being invited to participate and they can see or participate, or we can model, because a lot of them have questions on how to host if they haven't hosted yet. We do have an Ask Council. We're really excited and hoping that you all can be there. We're going to make sure these are on your calendars. It's a great time to interface and engage with residents. But Remy is just trying to do a lot in one kind of fell swoop where in 1 week. But the departments have been fantastic. Everyone's really coming out. We did that engagement assessment not too long ago that you all participated in, and we heard loud and clear that we need to be in the community. We go where the people are, and departments are on board to make sure that we really kind of bring back this program and all engagement very intentionally and authentically.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Councilmember Perez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When the neighborhood program is started, and when the what you call right now the barbecues, but the picnics started, one of the biggest goals was not just for the neighbors to know each other, for also the neighbors to be able to connect with the departments, the head departments. So we used to host, part of the picnic was to bring the barbecue. That was part of the portion of the city. Obviously, they all know how from the part of the recreation department, and Norma was a big deal on that. But bringing the barbecue and having the police chief, doing the hamburgers and council members and the mayor, and there are a lot of photos, around there. When you talk about barbecues and what the city is going to provide, the idea is to come back to that place where we bring the barbecues and from the city and do the whole thing.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. We have already talked to Public Works. We're going to roll out the barbecues, some hot dogs, plant-based sausages, being very respectful of people's, new dietary needs. We're working, especially for the April event, but working with sustainability to make sure that everything that we're providing as far as food and drink is sustainable. So providing drinks like water and lemonade and things like that, but not necessarily in things that are easily disposable but compostable. Very intentional things. But yes, there will be barbecues, there will be food, tables, there will be entertainment. We're partnering with the Arts Commission to make sure that we identify some entertainment during these events. There'll be face painters, balloon artists. Yep.
George Stahl is coming out of the works.
Oh, right.
He's excited.
Bring out your old aprons. So
to hear.
yeah, so there is some of the traditional framework where we are trying to be gracious hosts. It's Remy's adding other elements on top of there. So there will be some familiar elements for certain. It's just also trying to bring out folks for, to appeal to different interests and hoping that that'll get a bigger, turnout.
I have a follow-up question. And I'm very happy to hear that because after the year that Norma retired and they tried to change the format of the picnics, they're trying to incentivize the neighborhoods to do it themselves, and it didn't work. Not even the most popular picnics, including Kennydale, kept the barbecue system. They moved to the ice cream social because the whole barbecue was a whole different dimension that they couldn't. There was not a neighborhood that could keep up with that, and even Kennydale and La Crosse, that were the better organized of the picnics, they substantially lost participation after we removed the barbecues. So I'm very happy to hear that this is coming back. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. And we did a roadshow too with all the departments to get ahead, to take into account their capacity, their resources, where they at, and figuring out where we could leverage our engagement, opportunities and needs. Truthfully, we all have them. So yeah, it's a big lift. And so we do appreciate all the departments, because Norma, she had her own team, an unofficial team, and she was amazing at accomplishing that. And so we had to approach it a little different, but we're definitely getting the support, which is appreciated.
One of the other things we want to make sure that the neighborhood program has as part of its foundation is a easy access to the city and have some sort of civic engagement. And what I've done is partnered with Recreation and one of the coordinators there to reignite their youth sector, is to provide a Civic Academy and make it the teen edition. What I've learned in talking to other neighborhood programs around the county is that we are the only ones providing teen edition Civic Academy right now, which is pretty exciting. But what we hope to do is also just have this curriculum exist and provide it to all ages at different parts of the year, because I think it's important that the residents understand what they can hold the city accountable for and what the city has and can provide for them. So providing Civic Academy as part of the neighborhood program, I think, is essential too.
And Councilmember Perez, you've been asking for the youth coalition and kind of a youth academy. So obviously rec was dormant to a degree, and they're bringing back obviously multiple facets of their operations. So they're going to be coordinating and helping recruit students. We'll be providing the infrastructure and the access, and we are really excited because they're going to hopefully have an opportunity to interface with council as well. And we want them to know how government works. We hope that they aspire, but if nothing else, just understand the system. They are our future voters and our future taxpayers. And so we're really hoping to empower them. But we're modeling this first with youth with the intention to bring back an adult academy. But this is a great one to start off with.
Other things that I've planned to do in the last week that I've been here is I planned an August movie night in the Sunset area, and that's going to look more traditionally like the historic neighborhood picnics of the day. We're just going to roll into Sunset, throw up a really big movie screen, grill up some things, and just have people show up ad hoc. That's just going to be a fun event. We're also going to, like I said, continue to support the neighborhood block parties and provide them the resources that we have and all of the financial assistance and planning assistance that they need. March 25th, you should all already have on your calendars, is our neighborhood forum. I think they previously were called neighbor to neighbor forums. Yeah. This one's going to be just a couple hours on a Saturday, probably not quite as large, but we're going to try to do it a little bit of justice. And we've invited a lot of the other city departments to participate and come in.
People are already registered.
There are 41 people already RSVP'd, representing roughly 25 neighborhoods for that event. And then In the Loop is our online engagement tool that I mentioned earlier. That's the online communication tool that's going to provide two-way communication for residents to engage with very specific projects. So each individual barbecue, the Civic Academy, just all sorts of things. It's also where they're going to find their neighborhood program toolkit to help them reactivate their neighborhoods. We've also found that their meetings are few and far between, especially with certain neighborhoods. They meet maybe once a year because their residents don't want to meet more often than that. They don't know how useful that is. And what we've learned is if we help them host meetings that are intentional, so we'll have emergency management come in and talk about emergency preparedness for their families, or have PD come in and talk about the active shooter safety, then more people will start to show up. They can get in front of their neighbors, and then their neighbors can start to volunteer to help them plan things. So we are also helping host meetings like that throughout the neighborhoods.
I've never seen a more happy reptile than on Councilmember
Right.
shoulders. But in terms of Sunset, sorry, we don't have a neighborhood program there, and we've always been trying to start one. So again, it's always starting with the basics and hosting and trying to get community involvement. In terms of support, that's a huge lift. So we'll be opening up a portal where neighborhood programs can apply for grant or resources. So you will probably anticipate some more picnics. These are the ones that they're going to initiate. There's several that they've requested city presence at. So more to come. We just don't have the full list yet because we're about to launch that. And in terms of the forum, that's where we'll be demoing the Bang the Table. That is the digital engagement software. It's owned by the parent company Granicus. It's pretty phenomenal. What we're trying to get out of is simply social media and the website, which is really flat, one-dimensional, but something where they could receive trusted information from the city and have a dialogue at the same time. So you do have to create an account, and also to create resources for neighborhoods so that they'll see where they could create a Canva account. What can we help provide them information wise? So it'll be a real I would say like a 360 space to interface with them, which is really exciting. And in terms of meetings, Rami won't brag, but we were working with other departments and trying to help set up meetings for them. A great one was the one with Public Works.
The traffic cushions up in Kennedale.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is be a trusted support and resource to the neighborhoods. If a department needs to connect or if a neighborhood would like information, we're providing that kind of concierge service, just to provide the correct connections and make sure neighborhoods are getting the information they need.
And I think that might actually be the end of our presentation. I do want to warn you that last year, without any bang the table or any neighborhood forum, we had roughly 14 or 15 neighborhood block parties in the span of 2 weeks. So if you could all just clear your calendars now.
Prince?
Yes, thank you so much, Madam President. As a former unofficial member of Enormous Crew, I'm very happy to see where our neighborhood program has come back to, kind of going back to its roots in the engagement. And I think the residents are going to benefit greatly from this kind of return to the roots, return to the city, kind of helping build the infrastructure and allowing them to build what they need to build as far as engagement around what we're doing, what we're providing. So I'm very happy about this great job in 1 week. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Sorry, small brain. No, we appreciate council's support. You've been a huge advocate and champion, and we appreciate it greatly. But we're excited to be able to do this, and we're building out a small team in EHHS as well, so that we can provide the best service and experience for our residents.
Yes, President. I have several questions, but I'm gonna ask one by one so you can go around with everybody else. Again, I echo the sentiment of my colleague. As I mentioned during the budget, the neighborhood program is one of my top priorities. My first year at the council, I learned so much from that neighborhood. I was shadowing literally Norma everywhere. So I learned so much that year from her and the connection with the neighbors. And I did recognize that the power of the neighborhood program for us, not just to connect with the communities, but the communities to connect with each other, and how much that helped everybody in the process. I was always very impressed with the high level of participation, which takes me to my first commitment here. When I see all the little faces and people that you have waving at us in every single neighborhood, I see that my own HOA doesn't have one. And I do know that the president of the HOA and my husband and a couple of people, including me, we received your email and the invitation. So shame on us for not replying to you. So we don't have, that's my first commitment, to make sure that someone reply and say, we're going to be there for the neighbor to neighbor, and that we have someone in leadership. So as well with the other neighbors, I can see a couple of them that are close where I live, that I know the presidents of those neighborhood associations, and I will make sure that they connect with you guys, because I know that they are there. And even though they are not full-time, they want to come back and be part of the city. So
Perfect.
that is my
Thank
commitment.
you. Yeah, I tried to find the most amount of neighborhood contacts in any folder in any of the drives, and I built the most robust database that I could, and I email blasted for probably 2 or 3 weeks straight, starting last year and then up until recently. And there were a lot of dead emails that I was able to clear, and then a lot of people that I just had either moved or just didn't respond. I said, okay, this is your last chance, and I think I might have cleared them all out this morning so that I was no longer bothering them. But yeah, if you guys have any contacts in any of those neighborhoods, I'm happy to take them.
Councilmember Vaughn? Okay, Councilmember
Okay,
Halverson.
thank you, Councilmember Vaughn. So I'm one of those folks that needs to get a contact to you, because I don't think I've gotten these emails or whatever it is. Maybe if I have, forgive me, but I'd like to get you in contact with, well, I'm the HOA president, but I'd like to get you in contact with somebody else. To do that. I have enough on my plate. But let's make sure. But I want to make sure I have the right understanding as far as the neighborhood activities. I may have the least amount of knowledge of all these, I don't know, Norma or whoever it is, but for these things, I mean, the city basically does the heavy lifting when it comes to this stuff. It's just a matter of having the contact, establishing when, where, and let you guys kind of work with whoever the contact is, taking it from there and putting it all together. I know my neighborhood, and I swear you ask them to do stuff. I hope there's no one watching. You know, everybody waits for somebody else to do it. So I want to make sure that there's that I have the right understanding with that.
Yeah, that's pretty on par for every neighborhood is, yeah, I'll wait till somebody else does it. And so we are definitely trying to respect people's space and not just enter their neighborhood without their invitation. But if there's even just a, yeah, I'm happy to participate. If I don't have to, perfect. I'm coming in with a truck. We're going to hang out.
Okay.
And I'm totally happy doing that. But yes, so specific for barbecues are definitely just a full city lift.
So there's the city hosted events where we're doing the biggest lift. Then there's the the neighborhood initiated events where they can request the degree of support. And sometimes they'll really are great about asking what they want from the city in terms of representation. They really want to have a dialogue. They're really open to us bringing the whole family if that's what they're open to. Then there's the grants where that could be reimbursement, that could be creating community through experience, that could be volunteer beautification. Some of it has been capital improvements. We're looking at how to make that more equitable, geographically equitable as well. And so that we're going to be putting that through the Equity Commission and first working through legal and finance to see how we can evolve the program. So it really has similar verbiage, but there are differences, and we're looking to build it out so it's easier for the public can understand as what is available to them.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you. I see that we are well represented here in Kennydale. We got two people here. And so, but I do know folks from other neighborhoods that you're mentioning. I'll send them your way. I just wanted to say thank you for the work that you've done, because I know it was a heavy lift on your end in the department, and really kudos to you in terms of bringing back, or actually being the first around the region with the Civic Engagement Youth Teen Edition. I think it's very important where you really took in council feedback to meeting communities where they're at, right? I think that's really important because not everyone can come to a council meeting, or not everyone has a 9-to-5 job, right? So very much appreciate your intention, your thoughtfulness, and leadership in this. So thank you.
Yes. Oh, wait, is there anybody else who would like to, do you have something?
No, I just look forward to those calendar invites. I plan on blocking out my entire calendar for them.
All of August.
All of them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes, ma'am.
So as I mentioned, my first year on the council, I shadowed Norma, and I went every single picnic. They were like 50, I don't remember how many, and it was like Tuesday and Wednesday. We don't do anything else, but we go to picnics, and that was a full-time job. But it was I learned so much. But I do remember that one of the pieces that was key here was also in helping some of the neighborhoods to how to do their meetings. Everybody meet once, so some of them just meet once a year, others have monthly meetings. And the ones that have monthly meetings is very interesting because they basically don't need any help from us. They already know how to do it, they have the know-how. But Norma was trying to teach them, the new neighborhoods, how to meet, how to get together, and what are the things that they can discuss during those meetings. But one of the biggest challenges that she had to talk with the presidents was participation. How to make sure that people engage and participate in these meetings. I guess in this time and age, having Zoom gotta be easier to have participation from neighborhoods, because in those days, people were tired, were late, the day didn't work for everybody, and it was a complication. And in part of the exploring in the neighborhood to neighborhood program, it has how to invite people to the picnics. There was a challenge there were two challenges, like, as far as I remember. One, the leadership was tired because obviously the people that is the president forever, like here, Councilmember Albertson, they want to pass the torch eventually, and they found really hard to find someone else in the neighborhood that wants to take the responsibility. So that is the know-how of how to start building new leadership and how this can be something that people that are already on the top, they don't get tired. So this, if one person doesn't do it, anybody does it anymore. But the other piece of this was how they can effectively invite their neighborhoods to participate in these activities, because it's so much energy and work that is put for having not even half of the neighbors there participating. And I remember perfectly that Berchello was one of those that was very popular in their efforts, but they had to go door by door inviting the neighbors, and it was very tiresome from the president of the neighborhood association. Do you guys have any strategies, new strategies about how they're going to do this, how they're going to make sure that now they're going to revitalize that? And we have so many new neighbors that have never been in a picnic, to start inviting them and understanding the importance of engaging with your own neighborhood association and the benefits of participating in these events?
No, I have no strategy on that, but I did write it down so that I can research social sciences to better get people to come out and play at my party. It's true. We are really just trying to reach neighbors where they are in the most respectful way possible. So if that includes us going door to door and making sure that we leave a little handout, or reaching out to right now just the neighborhood leadership, that's kind of where we're at so far. So if you have any suggestions on the best way to engage in those conversations and invite those people, I would love to hear it. But
it hasn't been as specific on how. It's more, I'm not good at flyers. How do I do a flyer? We still do a newsletter. Should we be doing it in other languages, and what languages? And so we're getting really good specific ones that are kind of building it towards. So all of this will influence how we use Bang the Table for them. But there's still that digital divide. There's certain community members, whether it be education, age, various reasons, that they don't do digital. So we're still in conversation to figure out what specific needs they have in terms to help them. But those have been the specifics thus far. I think after this summer, we could probably come back to you with, okay, based on what we heard, now that it got fired up, we were going to propose the following strategy and see if council has any advice for anything we may have missed. But right now we're just trying to turn on all the lights and see who's still in the room, because they haven't been on for a while. But it's an excellent point. I don't think the need has changed. We're just not hearing it in that way. We're hearing, I don't know how to do a digital flyer, things like that. So we will return with an answer, a better answer for that one.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have a question. Is it possible to use either This Week in Renton or the mayor's newsletter to begin the drip of, neighborhood picnics are coming back, watch your calendars, more information to come, and just getting it out to every household in the utility bill or something like that, where you could sort of build some of that excitement and get people, remind people what it used to be like, and that, we're coming back strong.
yeah, we have partnered with the communications team, and so Sheila's making all sorts of beautiful marketing for me. It's going to sit in the Let's Go guide coming out for this spring. We are having Angel put it all over the social media when we can, and we are talking right now with Laura in communications about the neighborhood program having a piece in the Renton Reporter every once in a while, just to make sure that the neighborhoods have kind of a little spotlight on them in that space also.
And there's over 100 plus Nextdoor accounts. The city has its main account that it disseminates through Nextdoor, and so we can strategically place that. But yes, we do need to kind of, bang that drum that we're coming back, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone. We're just in the process, and we're happy to get that to you as well, to push through your channels. We know you all have extensive channels as well.
And then do you have somebody lined up with a really, really deep, gravelly voice to sit on a stool and serve lemonade?
I thought you were all gonna rock, paper, scissors from the panel up here, from the dais.
With a counter. Also, he could get a counter.
That's right. Yeah. So we have very some fun tasks and jobs we look forward to council plugging in and helping us out with. So yes, we've been talking about the heyday, and we just appreciate again the support. We're excited to be back in front of the community, and look forward to a good summer.
That reminds me that after we start changing the model, and I had mentioned this before, and Councilmember Prince and I've shared this feeling that when we start going to the picnics after we changed the model, it really felt like we were there and, hi, I'm the council member, and we felt that we were breaking in a party, that they were not expecting us and they didn't know why we were there. They even asked us, do you live in this neighborhood? It was very odd. So I hope that the expectation is that, staff members are going to be there, the department heads, and the idea is for them to connect with us as well as with the everybody from the police department or the RFA or public works, etc. So that's expectation, because it felt very awkward after so many years to being expected to be there. Suddenly it's like, what are you doing here? So,
I think we do best when we're in the position of hospitality and we're here to greet them and meet with them. So you have jobs for certain, and if you get pulled away, that's okay. But our job is to host again. We will be back in that business, as well as that balance of the ones who do want to still do their smaller neighborhood. So we're trying to strike the balance of, bringing back what was amazing and supporting what's still wanted.
thank you. Thank you very much. Very excited.
Very exciting. Any other final questions or comments? No? All right. Thank you very, very kindly.
Thank you so much.
Really,
Yeah.
really looking forward to it.